Good afternoon, folks, and thanks for joining us. My name's Tim Wheaton with Café Sports, and today I am joined by a man who is working behind the scenes in Muay Thai. Matt Lucas, thanks for joining me today.
Hey, thank you. Thank you so much for having me. Hope you're doing well.
Cheers, appreciate that, man. No, I really did struggle to kind of put together like what your intro is because you do so much for the Muay Thai behind the scenes. I've seen all of your videos covering, all the behind the scenes work that you do, being a manager, kind of being an ambassador, being almost a matchmaker at times. How do you describe what is your job description?
Well, my actual title is Director of Public Relations for Fairtex. That's sort of the primary channel. But really, I'm a man about town. As you said before, I have done some matchmaking, a little bit of management, cornered athletes, was a fighter myself, author. I commentate at the stadium, at Lumpinee Stadium for Fairtex Fight on a weekly basis, do a lot of social media influencing style stuff. So I'm definitely a man about town. I have a lot of skills. So, I think Director of Public Relations is okay, though.
Hey, that's absolutely awesome stuff. And for those who don't know, maybe they're tuning in for the first time, you guys need to see Matt Lucas's work. You have incredible videos that you have on Instagram and YouTube that just break down both the basics and advanced kind of ideas in Muay Thai. So for those who don't know, tell them to check this stuff out, right?
Yeah, I mean, I obviously would recommend it because I like my stuff. I'm basically a lot of what I have made in terms of my books and just my social media content is the work that I would like to see in the world and what I think would have been very valuable for me as a fighter or maybe a few years ago. And these are all things that I've learned. And I feel like the really great thing about social media and just the internet now is you can leverage things. You can take a moment in time and really make it stronger and make it more impactful for other people so they can learn faster. So they won't necessarily go through the same mistakes as someone like I did.
But yeah, and that's the thing. It's everything from like helping fighters weigh in to what lessons you've learned on social media. And it's absolutely awesome to see. I appreciate you putting all that work together. And I want to ask you on like your perspective from where you're living right now, how is Muay Thai viewed in Thailand? Because I know that there was a decade where it was struggling a little bit there, golden age before that. Where is Muay Thai kind of now in the country?
Yeah, so I guess to put things into a general historical perspective, it was a big boom in the late 90s. There was the economy was doing well. A lot of people from the countryside were coming into Bangkok. There weren't a lot of other forms of entertainment, so the stadiums became a hot spot. Then
Right.
you have other technologies, TV coming in, the economy crashed, so people left the stadiums, sales dropped, fighters stopped making as much, and sort of the trajectory sort of went down. The fitness in the sport sort of went up, and tourism, international like sports tourism, started to rise, which was a good thing, but it hadn't really changed the dynamic of the sport that much. Thai people still sort of thought as like a lower class, but now it's a lot different with the new wave of entertainment shows that have come across in the last maybe 4 or 5 years, starting off with Thai Fight and then moving on to Max Muay Thai, who really honed in on the model. Then we now have one Lumpinee, which is really blowing things up, and RWS as well. So a lot of the team behind, or some of the team behind both RWS and one Lumpinee come from Max Muay Thai, and they developed the weekly model of like entertaining crashing fights, basically entertaining demolition derbies, whereas the stadiums are more geared towards the gambling, and it's a little bit more like F1 racing. It's a little bit more intricate. It's harder to understand for your casual punter. But at a show like One Lumpini, you see two guys put on small gloves and bash the shit out of each other, and they make a lot of money doing it. So it's very easy to understand, and I think that's where companies like RWS or Plan B, who is behind RWS, and then also One Championship are looking to do. They're looking to get a very wide and broad audience of punters to grow the sport.
Well, yeah, the one Lumpini shows, the week in, week out shows, these are like, I don't want to be rude to Big One, but these are the best things that
Oh,
one championship has ever done. These are so good, right?
the I think that is the general consensus now, is that the one Lumpini, one Friday night shows are just superior to the weekend shows. There's good things obviously about the weekend shows, the bigger purses, you have the more exciting fights, but these weekly shows are so good. And we're having stars develop, stars like Tyson Harrison. There's the JoJo from Rentap Gym.
Yeah.
A new wave of athletes, Nong M or Junior Fairtex from here. This new wave of entertaining, exciting athletes that have characters and stories behind them.
Man, it's been absolutely awesome to see it. I'm so excited that we have so many more shows to cover as well. But upcoming later this year, Stamp Fairtex will be facing Ham Seo Hee for the interim world title. This will be on One Fight Night 14 on Prime Video, booked for September 29th. This is a big matchup here. Now, you helped Stamp out. You've been working with her for quite some time now. What can we expect? What do you envision in this matchup?
I think Stamp is going to perform. One of the things that she always does is she performs, no matter what the odds are, and she keeps getting better. I was in her last fight camp in Colorado. It was a lot of work, a lot of logistics, and I myself don't know that much about MMA. She was sort of thrown into a new world in America, going to different gyms, a new environment. It was fucking cold as shit. She warmed the heart of the crowd, and she burned up the stage and made a shit ton of money doing what she does best, being herself. So I think that we will continue to see Stamp perform well. Again, my understanding of MMA is not that high, so I can't be like, oh, I know Stamp will win or she'll lose. Muay Thai, I'd be like, oh, I know for sure. But MMA, I'm sort of like, I'm still learning a lot about the sport.
Well, yeah, and you and Stamp working together, it's obviously working quite well, because there are specific challenges that I know you two are working on in MMA. And it's stuff like, it's not so much the big picture stuff like grappling and clinching. It's often stuff just like spacing, like you were talking about. Just the stance has to be unique. The spacing is entirely different. Do you mind telling us a little bit more about this?
Yeah, so one of the things that she drilled a lot in America, there were a couple of things, is when she moves, she has a tendency to move backwards and not moving backwards on a straight line. So this is something I learned from the previous BJJ and MMA coach at Fairtex, is you need to do a little bit of a J curve. So if we are looking right here, so you don't want to move back straight back. You hit the bottom of the screen, you hit the cage. But if you move back and you J like that, let's see. Can I move my finger right? Okay.
You got, yeah.
That way. Okay, so whoop. And now we have space again. So taking a step back and then rotating around. That way you're re-establishing yourself in position in the cage. So when we did pad work, what we would do is like, okay, step back, step back. Okay, now you have to move. You have to move. You have to move. The other coaches as well did basically nail down the drill that led to the knockout of her opponent. So they had her forced up against the cage and then just spin out. So that was another thing that we did. Okay, you need to move in this J. Okay, you don't move. You're stuck up against a rope, up against a cage. We need you to pivot out and then attack. Pivot out and attack, which is what led to the knockout victory. And that was J.D. Hardwick and Bruno Calvera did really push that into her.
That's so impressive. Like Elise Anderson, really skilled, great fighter, especially on the ground, especially in the clinch. You're saying that you guys spotted that position, knew there would be a great opportunity, and it worked. It worked out brilliantly. It was an incredible knockout performance, right?
Yeah, I definitely think it was an incredible knockout. I was very, very excited about it. I don't know if it was cognizantly planned, but it's definitely something like these are basic movements that you need to reinforce, basic drills that would help Stamp both short and long term. So that's why they were implemented. Yeah.
Man, now she's got a big fight coming up with Ham. This is for the interim title. I almost want to say that this might be the most important fight of her career, maybe most challenging fight of her career. Ham is such a veteran that every MMA organization she's competed in, she's walked away with gold. One is the only one that's kind of outstanding where she hasn't walked away with a title belt at this point. For Stamp, this is a big fight. This is a really challenging fight coming in. What are you folks kind of drilling specifically for Ham? What are you preparing specifics for this matchup?
Well, in general, she is always working on her strengths. You know, a lot of elite level coaches will be like, work on your strengths, work on your strengths, because that's where you will win. You know, you obviously want to shell up your weaknesses. So she has great training partners right now. Anita Karim from Pakistan, and then also her former opponent, Jihin Radzui, is out
Yep.
here. And then we have a great BJJ black belt, Lizzie Van Sant, out here helping out Stamp. But she's also still doing what has worked for her, which is striking. So she's still doing a lot of Muay Thai, and a lot now. There's the Muay Thai coaches, the Thai coaches, and people like me that have a background in Muay Thai are developing a better understanding of Muay Thai or of MMA. So one
Mhm.
thing, for instance, that Sean Madden over in uh, Colorado taught me is when you hold pads for MMA fighters, you need to be reactive. So like you're doing pad work with them, 1 2 1 2, you know,
Mhm.
whatever, a body kick. Sometimes you will force them to miss the pad, so they'll overextend potentially. So then you rush in and grab them.
Uh,
This is something that is gonna happen in a fight. So you know, for instance, Stamp might throw that big, powerful counter right hand. If a lot of people that have watched her fights knows she has that big counter right hand. So someone like Ham is going to learn how to slip that and try and come in and try and take down the base. So by drilling in these sort of reactive focus drills where, okay, you're pulling the pad away, that way you can go in and shoot on her. It's building in the defense, and it's also creating a more stabilization for the athlete as well. So when they do throw the punch, they're not overextending it. They're still, their base is firm and control underneath them.
it's just tremendous because a lot of the stuff that you're talking about, because I'm a huge subscriber to your videos, like it's a tremendous, thank you for doing all this. But a lot of the stuff she was doing these things in training, and you can see her doing it in the training room and then doing it in the fight. Stamp is like just an incredible sponge when it comes to training, like adjusting from Muay Thai, she did kickboxing for a while, and then adjusting to a totally different sport in MMA. I mean, I'm a huge fan of Stamp. She's kind of incredible, right?
Yeah, you know, Steph is very, very smart. She will not necessarily say that, or a lot of times it's not really hit on so much. I think because she has a very, you know, cute personality,
Mhm.
and she's fun and bubbly, but she's very, very smart. She knows what works for her, and she also has a huge background in the sport. Her father was a fighter, her brother is a fighter. She's obviously spent a lot of time at Fairtex. You know, you when you're around high level athletes all the time and you have as much experience, you learn things faster. So I think Stamp is very, very smart. She's able to, like you said, be a sponge, see things, and immediately pick them up. One thing that she actually saw that Anderson did during the warm ups, the press conference warm ups, was she
Mhm.
caught a leg kick. So if you go back and watch the fight, and Stamp was like, "Oh, she caught the leg kick. I'm going to drill getting out of this leg kick," and that happened actually in the fight itself. Anderson went to catch the leg, I believe, and then Stamp was able to maneuver her way out of it and into a more advantageous position. And that was within like, you know, 12 hours notice or something.
Holy, like it's insane to think that she was, I think, what she 23, 24, 25 now. She is a
Yeah,
veteran of
yeah, she's 25, I think.
25 now, but she's a veteran of like how many fights was she doing in the Muay Thai circuit when she was coming up as like a youth?
I mean, most youth will fight very regularly, like, you know, every other week or so. It's the same thing as in the West, where you might, a lot of people would play football, American football or soccer. You're playing so much, so much, so much, and then
Yeah.
you just build these skills. You know how to dribble, you know how to pass the ball, you know how to, throw a football. Even, I've never really liked American football, but I know how to throw a football. I
Right.
know how to make the arc and stuff. And it's the same way, but out here in Thailand for Muay Thai and fighters. There's so much fighting. They know how to fight. Even your average Thai can kick you. Maybe not like powerful, but they know how to kick you.
It's absolutely awesome to see. She's super cool. Hey, let me ask you, I wanted to ask someone about this as well, but no one could give me quite a straight answer. She fought Fet Jija like in 2016 when they were both like 14 years old, or am I wrong about this one?
No, you're correct. I believe they fought when they were very, very young.
Oh, gotcha. Not an overly important thing. 10 years on, it's different ball game at this point. So Stamp, I wanted to ask about some of the specific Denver stuff when you guys were hanging out. She wanted to try Diet Pepsi, is that right?
Yeah, she is a huge Pepsi fan. Just like she needs to be sponsored by Pepsi. We drink an insane amount of soda. So we went on tour in America, and the first day that we arrived in San Francisco. It was a rest day. So we're in the hotel room. It's like midnight. I'm like, I'm going to bed, and she's like eating tons of Doritos and like slugging down the Pepsi. And I was like, how can she do this? It blew my mind.
And it was also the first time that she had seen snow. Both you and I are from, like, I'm from Canada originally. I know,
Yeah,
you're from the US. For us, it's not special. It's not cool at all, but she was having fun with it.
yeah. She had a lot of fun with it. It was cool. A lot of the great things about these adventures and these fights for both athletes and specifically for Stamp is she's getting like this really, really cool life experience. Getting to see snow for the first time, she ate it, which is like a very typical kid thing to do. I mean, I know I have definitely eaten some snow before.
Yeah.
No yellow snow, but definitely have eaten some snow.
I think one of the more impressive things about Stamp, her fighting career, she's taken risks and it's worked out extremely well for her. She's never shied away from any challenging fights. And I think even though she may not speak perfect English, her personality comes across in that she is a little bit of a crossover star. In that, it's amazing to think that she is bigger in the United States than many American fighters. She doesn't speak English, but it's just through sheer like taking fights seriously and just being an extremely charming person. Like, am I wrong on this? What do you think of this?
I totally agree with you. The experience in Colorado reinforced it, but really when we went on this American seminar tour, I was like, holy shit, people love Stamp. There were people that would wait outside of this seminar for a couple hours just to get something signed by her. She has a very magnetic personality. I think, there's obviously some natural natural tendency to that, but I also think she's very smart. She understands it and uses it well and creates a great atmosphere all the time. And the one of the biggest things about Stamp is what you see on camera and what you see in real life are basically the same. There's not a lot of difference between what you will see on Instagram and what you will see in real life. She's like, and fun all the time. And then, dances and is loud and, is a generally positive person to hang out with.
Just absolutely awesome here. So let me get the roll call going here. Stamp Fairtex will be fighting Ham Seo Hee for the interim world title at One Fight Night 14 on Prime Video, booked for September 29th. Now, Matt Lucas, you get the last word here. Talk us on out of here. Shout out who you need to shout out. Thank who you need to thank. All that good stuff. Please go ahead, sir.
Yeah, thank you so much to everyone that supports Stamp, that supports Fairtex. We're very, very excited about this fight. We also have an upcoming Australia tour shortly after the fight. So we're looking forward to announcing that officially soon. And I think we're going to see a great Stamp. She always does her best. And I think that will be proved once again for this fight against Ham.
Appreciate your time, sir. Thank you so much.